Welcome to another episode of
The Epic Family Road Trip.
Alright, we're stowing the final boat for the winter. So after this point, there's no more leaving until it's fully frozen. We just took a last ride out to see how far the ice had come, and the whole lake from that point on, from the Narrows on, is all frozen. It's probably not going to be too long now. It's pretty exciting. I'm looking forward to doing some ice fishing when it finally does freeze. But even in here in the boathouse, these two bays are full of ice. So we're going to have to break through that with a pole. I'll get the doors open and load her up.
A weird feeling. We're putting our last boat up for the winter, winterizing it. At that point, even though it was just an illusion that we could get out with the boat in the water, because the guys went and checked, and it's the entire bay is solid frozen over there, so there's no point having the boat in the water other than, you know, we can still drive around the lake, but it's getting to the point where it's dangerous. So we're putting it up out of the water and winterizing the motor, closing down the boathouse, and we'll show you bit by bit as the lake freezes, both in the back channel and out front. And we'll take measurements of the ice as well. Nice. Good show. Turn it that way so it's upward. Here.
Pulling the last boat out of the water is a big step for us, and now we are fully committed to our adventure. Did we make the right calculations and store up enough supplies? Will the ice over happen quickly, or will it take longer than we were counting on? We have no way of knowing the answer to these questions, but the one thing we do know for sure is that this is going to be a wonderful adventure unlike any other.
We started collecting gravel and putting it down on our walkways back in May, and now we just finished it. It looks really nice, and I'm super happy with it. So it was nice to get it all the way around our new shop and to the outhouse, and then I just collected some other bigger rocks, and I want to make some like fern gardens, hostas, and different things like that all in this area, and possibly some more vegetable gardens in the larger area. But it started with the new addition of our house, moving the dirt that was underneath that new part and then leveling it out around the whole cabin, filling in all the big deep holes and things like that. And then with that being clay, I needed something like gravel to put over it, so we didn't bring all that in the house. If anyone knows me, I really enjoy doing garden work, and just rocks to me are just really neat. I just get a joy out of doing work like that. So I already have ideas for little rock walls and stuff like that, but that's for next year, like I said. But yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's always just fun to walk around knowing you picked it up and you put it there, and it's just fun. Each piece has a little bit of a memory. And we also collect rocks on our trips, and then I put them around the house, and sometimes you'll notice one if it was from Newfoundland or from Alaska or wherever, and it's a cool cool thing. So, little rock history.
So Carol said a minute ago, she said, I'm gonna go get some fresh air and grab a bucket of water, which normally we come and we dip. And she got out here and it's frozen. So we've been having a lot of waves and it's been keeping the ice at bay, but this is the first calm night. And sure enough, we can see in the line of the moon here, it's frozen right across, which is really good news. We've been really excited to have it start freezing up, and hopefully it stays calm for a couple of days and we'll start building a layer of ice. I would estimate, I don't know, it's probably just, I don't know, a couple centimeters, maybe a half an inch. It's gonna be minus 15 Celsius tonight, so it's gonna get deeper.
We are gonna be breaking ice for probably the next day, maybe 2 days, getting buckets of water, and then we'll have to start using the water that's in the shop there.
Water, half ice.
After a chilly night, the morning sun reveals a buildup of ice in the channels and around the island. It has been calm on the lake these past few days, but the forecast is for high winds to come in from the south later today, bringing with it some accumulating snow. The strong winds pick up on the lake, creating waves which begin to crack the ice bridge that had formed overnight. And then the snow begins to fall.
With all that wind this morning, it was bringing in a snowstorm, which is now hitting us pretty good here. And if you see in the background that clear ice that formed the other night, the waves kept hitting against the south end of it, and there was so much pressure, I guess, from the waves that it broke a channel through the middle of the ice. So you can see water flowing that way, but now that the snow's here, it's really starting to close up the ice holes again. So we'll see what comes of this.
If you stood here, you'd just turn into a snowman.
Yeah,
You'd freeze.
your hair is white as a bit. That's a good old-fashioned blizzard right there. Haven't seen this in a long time. Reminds me of when I was a kid. Snow would come in so hard you can only see, well, you probably have 50 feet visibility in front of us. What it seems to be doing is the snow accumulates in the water, at least the still water, where the wind isn't blowing too hard, and it turns to ice very, very rapidly.
You can see that whole shelf of new ice there.
Yeah, it's already 5 feet beyond where it was. That, what I talked about earlier, that kind of a wind pressure crack that formed in the ice is already filling in and gapping again with all the snow coming down. It's freezing, and yeah, we'll see what happens. You know, this is our first time watching the ice form on the lake, and it's absolutely fascinating. You know, it comes and goes. There's times where you get some cold nights and a whole bunch forms, and then the next day the wind comes and blows it away. But I don't know. Over the next couple of weeks, we'll have a much better idea of how the lake freezes and you know, how it all works.
Storing his last nuts for winter.
Yeah.
Amazing that something like this can just pop up. A lot of snow has already fallen, and it's calling for this for maybe the next 2 days. It's amazing.
But I'm going to go measure the temperature of the water and check the thickness of the ice, which is just around the island. The middle of the lake is still open and flowing, but in order to get access to it, we're going to have to poke a hole in the ice. And we've got this for ice fishing. It's an auger that we attach to one of our Milwaukee drills, and that's how we're going to be punching holes in the ice later when it's really thick. But I think it's only an inch deep, but we're going to give it a try and just show you how it works and practice using it. All right, so this is it. It's a hammer drill, and we use the fuel version, which is a brushless drill, because the ones that have brushes, if you splash water on them, they're toast. So this one can withstand getting wet. And then we have this little auger here, and it goes on here like this. I'll get a battery. We'll take this cover off and we'll give it a try. So there's very sharp blades on the bottom. You got to be careful, obviously. They're metal blades, and then the auger itself is actually plastic. So all it does is move up the chips of ice. Now, the ice here is probably only an inch thick, but we'll give it a try. When you're choosing a drill, like I mentioned earlier, you want brushless so it can handle a bit of water. I'd get this little option with the handle, because those teeth can grab, especially if you're digging through a foot of ice. They could grab and it'll twist your arm pretty quick. So this way you can kind of brace it and then just get it moving. This drill also, just so you know, has an automatic brake. So if you let go, it stops immediately. There we go. Yeah, so the water's 0 Celsius, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Any colder than that, it becomes ice, and there's a lot more ice forming on the lake than before. Right now, we'll get a 3 inches right here. Obviously, as you go out, it's going to get thinner and thinner towards the middle. It's almost non-existent, so definitely not safe to walk on or go anywhere near as of yet. But when we get snowstorms like this, the temperature usually goes up, so it's not that cold in the air right now, but we'll bring the progress to you as it happens. Good morning. So the ice saga continues. Every day there's something different happening on the lake. We've had from hard freeze-ups at night so far this week alone, to heavy snowfall yesterday, to the temperature going to 0 degrees or 32 degrees, which now that we're acclimatized is downright balmy for us. And you can see the ice looks more like slush in the background. We have some good heavy snow, very soft, wet packing snow, but yeah, we're just learning as we go, and it seems to be this year a lot later than normal, and it is cyclical, as we've talked to a lot of the locals. Some years it's like this. Last year everything was frozen by this point, so it comes and goes. So for us now, the challenge is taking a look at our supplies. You know, we calculated 4 weeks roughly being frozen in, and even though the water's open here, it's still frozen in at the marina, so we can't go shopping or anything. We think we have you know, calculated everything properly, and we had a buffer on there of a couple of weeks. So yeah, it looks like the temperatures are going to start dropping tomorrow, and then hold pretty cold for the next couple of weeks through Christmas and into New Year's. So I think we'll be getting on the ice just after New Year's, but in the meantime, we just watch and let Mother Nature do her thing. All right, with all of the preparations that we've been doing here at the island, from getting lots of firewood in stock, propane, getting batteries for electricity, stocking up on food, another very important consideration is communications. We have no cellular service here on the island or anywhere in the region. You have to actually get in a vehicle and drive for at least half an hour before you get cell service. But we do have Wi-Fi, and this year we got Starlink, which is amazing. So far, we're really happy with it. But it only works in the cabin and maybe 10 or 20 feet outside. So you could even be on the other side of the island and not be able to communicate if something happened. So we have had a Garmin inReach for quite a few years. In all our overland travels, we've had this with us. Plus we had a Spot back in the day. I don't think we have that one anymore. But we're not affiliated or sponsored by any of these, but we just want to talk to a little bit about how we prepare for communications. So the Garmin is great. We've used it to send people our location, to communicate, and you can communicate from the device with this one by tapping through all the letters. And there's also an app that you get on a smartphone, which is called EarthMate. And EarthMate allows us to basically type just like we're texting. So that is a good device. We're very happy with it, and we've tested it for at least 4 years. And just recently we got 2 more devices, and these are Zolios. We've never used them before. We were actually looking for Garmin's, but they were out of stock at the time, and they highly recommended these guys for just simple back and forth communications. So basically what they do, there's an SOS button for worst case scenario. You flip up that cover there and you'd hold it for 3 seconds. But there's a handy little check-in button, so you can log in and put in 2 contacts that you would use to communicate with, and you just hit the check-in button. It'll send them a quick message saying everything's okay and I'm checked in at this location. So that's handy. But really for us, the main usage is any of us going outside of the Wi-Fi range here. So when the ice freezes eventually, we'll be taking trips ice fishing up the lake, or we'll go snowshoeing into the deep forest back there. And if something were to happen, we want to be able to communicate. You also know, and a sponsor of our channel is Global Rescue, which is another preparation that gives us a bit of confidence, because it's definitely different being cut off from the world. No limited communication. So these devices, plus having our friends at Global Rescue that are available to speak with, and who would come and get us if needed, gives us a bit of comfort knowing we're not completely alone. So I got 2 of these, and I think we're probably going to get 3 more eventually, so that each one of us, all 5 of us, would have it clipped onto our jackets. Then we have the confidence that everybody's safe. But typically we go in at least 2 of us at a time if we're going out somewhere hiking or whatever. So we know that one of these will be with each person. And so the other thing about the Zolio is it also has an app. It's its own Zolio app. And basically with that app, it connects to the device, and you can text just like you're texting on a cellular network pretty much. You type in your message, and then this will connect to the satellite and send it up and send it to whoever you want to communicate with. So it's great for emergency use, but also non-emergency. The Zolio here in Canada, Canadian dollars, is, I still have the price tag on there. We got it for $269, so like $270, which is reasonable for a great communication device like this. And then you pay an ongoing fee, which the basic is about 25 bucks a month and gives you a certain number of messages, and then 70 cents a message over that. So if you're using it a lot, you'd go to a higher, you pay $49 for the mid-range one. That gives you a lot more messaging. And then they have an unlimited if you're using it a lot. And it's very similar for the Garmin in terms of price, except the unit itself, this was closer to $500. There's also a Garmin Mini, which is something you might consider, which works very similar to both of these devices. Yeah, so we're gonna just, we've set one up, and we're gonna set this one up. It comes with a little carabiner for hanging it on your jacket, and it comes with a little charging USB-C charger. And so we're going to charge this one up, get it connected, pay for the service, and then we'll take it somewhere on the island and run a few tests.
All right, so Peter and I just walked out to a spot of the island that has no Wi-Fi or cell service to test out our Zoleo. Dad's in the cabin waiting. I'm going to send him a test message to see if it goes through. And the reason we're testing this now is so that if we're going out ice fishing or doing whatever we're doing, when we're carrying one of these with us, we know that we can contact somebody in case anything goes wrong, or even just to let everyone know our location in case something does happen. So I just sent it out. We'll see if Dad receives it. All right, so it just received. Our text message went through, and we just got one from Dad. So it's good to know that this works. And that didn't take long at all. We just walked like 15 feet into the more open out of the trees. We received his message, so beauty.
So tonight I'm making a super simple meal that our family has enjoyed and loved since, I mean, the kids were tiny. I'm just gonna be making a real basic barbecue sauce, basically adding some garlic and onions and just letting it slow cook for about 3 hours, and then serve it on some mashed potatoes, and basically that's it. But my goodness, it smells amazing every time we make it. So let's get to it.
We have been reading about the health benefits of a cold water bath, but none of us have been brave enough or crazy enough to try it. Until now.
Oh, okay. It's gonna take some getting used to. That was cold, but really refreshing. So I'm gonna try and do this for at least 11 minutes every week and build up so I can get used to it. Nice. What a beautiful day. Still no freeze up. It'll come. But the snow is fresh and beautiful. It's weird, I thought it'd be a lot colder.
The new day brings a thick layer of freshly fallen snow, and no one is happier than Lando. The silence of the forest, the clean white snow, and the incredible fresh air fills our senses as we walk through the forest, enjoying these glorious winter days together.
So I think she needed a piece of pine.
We have no shortage of activities to keep us busy here on the island. From everyday chores like fetching buckets of water, carrying in firewood for the wood stove, cleaning, making meals, and doing dishes. We also find more time these days for working in the studio, creating content. But it's not all work here. With the sun going down early, there's plenty of time to play and read and enjoy quality family time together while we wait for the ice to come in on the lake, opening up a whole new winter wonderland around us.
And in the meantime,
We'll see you down the road.
Lando, you're such a good man. And you should
It's getting colder.